Hey guys, it's Mac again. Welcome back. And today we got another episode of On the Road Again. And today's question actually comes from a couple of different people. If you saw my video I posted a couple of months ago as part of my 3-Gun Life series, I had a video dedicated to the gear belt. And you probably found out by now there's no such thing as a perfect gear belt. Well, I'm in that club too. I've had to tinker around with my gear belt quite a lot, and a couple of guys wanted me to sort of highlight just how I got my double alpha belt to run the Safariland ELS system. So I'm going to modify it in a couple of cutscenes here and just show you exactly how you can do this at home. I've also read that you can customize a CR speed belt in the same manner, so keep that in mind if you use a CR speed belt. So let me explain a little bit of the background here and the problem that I ran into. I started off with a double alpha belt when I got into 3-Gun and recognized the need for a dedicated gear belt, because the 511 sort of tactical nylon belt that I was using when I first started out, it's not the right thing for 3-Gun. You got to have a stiff, sturdy belt to accept all of these carriers and caddies that you have to carry. So I went with the double alpha. Now I love the double alpha belt. It's one of the thickest and sturdiest outer belts that you can get. Over time, I had been using the Tech Locks on the back of my individual gear pieces, and what I don't like about Tech Locks is that you lose contact with the inner and outer belt when you have the Tech Lock in place. And you can sort of accommodate this a little bit by cutting pieces of Velcro and sticking them to the back of your Tech Lock connectors, but you just don't get the same amount of contact and surface area that you do from the inner and outer belt always touching each other. So I decided, okay, I want to move to the ELS system because you don't lose any contact there, and it's also easy to slide carriers and caddies on and off during the match. So I invested in a Safariland outer belt as well, and went to the first match and just did not like the outer belt at all. The good thing about it is that it already has the holes in the belt to accept the ELS clips, but it's just not a sturdy belt, at least for me anyway. I have a pretty small waist. I use a size 32 belt, and what I found was that my shotgun shell caddies were just way too flimsy, and there wasn't enough, I guess, contact with my body to keep them in place. So I started coming up with a sort of a compromise. Talked to one of my good buddies, Jared, about this, and he had actually already thought about modifying his setup to sort of do the same thing. We actually bought the Safariland ELS setup together at the same time as sort of a group buy type of thing. So what we sort of brainstormed and came up with was that we drilled holes in our double alpha belt to accept the screws to put the ELS 34 clips on the belt, and so the female portion of the 34 clip stays on the belt all the time, and you secure those with these two small little screws. But in order to do that on a double alpha, you got to drill holes in it. So I was at the point where I was thinking about moving away from my double alpha belt anyway, so what's it going to hurt if I screw some holes in it, and if I mess it up, who cares? I've already invested in a new system anyway. So here's my method of doing that. So I'm going to go in with a drill bit, and first I'm going to have to measure the distance between the holes, and actually starting out used my Safariland belt as a sort of a guide or a template to figure out where to drill the holes. And I'm going to go with a drill bit and drill all the way through for my sort of rough pattern. But this is messy and it's ugly, and your screws are not going to go through there all that easily unless you make the holes look nicer. So I do that with a soldering iron. It's the same soldering iron that I use to stipple my Benelli and my Glock, and you can use any tip for this because essentially the size of the hole is almost the exact size of the barrel of the soldering iron. So I go through with the tip, and then I continue pushing the barrel of the soldering iron through. And that gives me a perfectly round and smoothed out hole in my double alpha belt once everything cools off and dries and hardens. Because the double alpha is made out of nylon, and once you've burnt the nylon and reformed it, it's going to dry and then re-harden. So this makes really great setup to get those ELS clips back on the belt. Then the hard part is just figuring out where on your belt you're going to need to go all the way around and put all of your attachments. So this takes the majority of the time figuring out where things go. And you know, you're probably going to do like I did and drill a few holes and put your belt on and realize, you know, that shotgun shell caddy needs to go another inch to the left. So you got to go back and drill a few more holes and, you know, sort of custom fitted. And I guess, you know, if you were hardcore, you could like drill holes all the way around the belt, but it's really unnecessary. All you need to do is get all of your different pieces where you want them and where you need them on your belt, because once you're done with this, like, you're really done. You can put all of your female ELS 34 clips on your belt and never have to move them. And that's why I like the ELS system so much. You know, if I come up to a stage where there's no shotgun, I'm taking my shotgun shell caddies off because I don't want them on there. They're so heavy anyway when they have shells in them, so I'm disconnecting them. And you know, with tech locks you can do that too. It's not as easy. You gotta take your belt off and then reposition everything. With 34 clips, you never have to take your belt off. You just take the attachment off, and that's why I like it so much. So that's a little brief synopsis of exactly how I customize my belt. And now that I've got it this way, I'm probably going to keep running this setup, you know, right on until something better or easier or more glamorous comes out. This ugly old double alpha with holes drilled in it is what I'm going to be running. So just a couple of quick, you know, pointers and tips on how you can customize your belt. So thanks again for joining me. This is Mac again. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel where I upload weekly 3-gun content and also videos about my rifles, shotguns, and my Glocks. Please like the video and leave a comment below. Let me know if there's any questions that you want to submit to have answered on a future episode of On the Road Again. Once again, this is Mac. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Once again, thanks for watching. And I'd like to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. You can do that by clicking on the video on the upper left. As a subscriber, you'll be immediately notified every time I upload a video on a weekly basis. And these videos include guns and gear reviews, as well as content that's always related to 3-gun. And also, to watch more of my most popular videos, click on the video on the lower left. Once again, this is Mac. As always, be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.